We're always told that to be influential, you've got to be talkative, right? You have to have an opinion on absolutely everything. But what if that's completely backwards? What if the real power, the thing that truly sets you apart, isn't about speaking at all, but about knowing when to be silent? So let's dive in and uncover this hidden strength. So let me just ask you this right off the bat. Do you feel that little pull, that need to answer every single question, to react to every comment, to fill every awkward pause in a conversation? Well, if that sounds like you, listen up. Because that very impulse, it might be the one thing that's holding you back. Because real power isn't in reacting, it's in choosing not to. Okay, so here it is. The single biggest mistake most of us make. We feel this compulsion to react to everything. We have to offer our 2 cents, we have to jump into the debate, we have to respond instantly. And what happens? People start to take us, well, less seriously. Our words lose their punch because, honestly, we're just making too much noise. I mean, just look at the difference here. On one side, you have the reactive person. They're always on, always available, totally predictable, and because of that, they're kind of easy to dismiss. But the silent person? Totally different story. Their presence is felt even when they don't say a word. They're unpredictable, and that makes people curious. You start wondering, what are they really thinking? And that mystery, that's why they're taken so much more seriously. And that right there brings us to the first huge benefit of silence, earning respect. And look, this isn't about being scary or intimidating. It's about completely flipping the script on the social dynamic. When you master silence, you're not just being quiet. You are communicating control. And that, my friends, naturally commands respect. So how does this actually work? Well, think of it like a chain reaction. It all starts when you make a conscious choice. You choose silence instead of just blurting out a needless reaction. That simple choice immediately creates a little bit of mystery. People can't just read you like an open book anymore. And that mystery? It makes you unpredictable. In a world where everyone overshares, being unpredictable is an incredibly rare and valuable quality to have. And the payoff? Oh, it's huge. All of a sudden, people aren't talking over you anymore. They're actually waiting for you to speak. It's a complete shift. And when you finally do decide to say something, your words land with incredible force because everyone knows they're thought out and necessary, not just more chatter. You automatically stand out from the sea of constant talkers. But look, this isn't just about how other people see you. That's only half the battle. The real power, the game-changing part of silence, is all about mastering your own internal world. It's about finally getting control over your own emotions. This is what we call emotional mastery. You know those feelings: anger, jealousy, sadness. They often just explode out of us when we react instantly. But silence? Silence creates this little gap, a buffer between the feeling and your action. And in that tiny space, you stop being a slave to your emotions and you start becoming an observer of them. And that's the transformation we're talking about, right there. So when someone says something to provoke you, instead of that impulsive outburst, there's a pause. You actually notice the feeling of anger rising, you look at it, you analyze it, and then you choose how to proceed. You go from being impulsive to being thoughtful. This quote from our source material just nails it. And sure, the language is a little old-fashioned, but the idea behind it is universal for everyone. The ability to control your internal state, to not get yanked around by every single emotional whim, that is the true sign of maturity and real inner strength. All right, now we're getting to the really good stuff. The master level, you could say. This is where silence stops being just a defensive tool and becomes a strategic weapon. This is how you move from simple, knee-jerk reactions to intelligent, calculated responses. See, a reaction, that's pure impulse. It's emotional, it's instant, it's that gut feeling. A response, though, is something else entirely. It's thoughtful, it's calm, and it's considered. A response comes from a place of control, not chaos. By practicing silence, you're literally training your brain to stop reacting and start responding. And let me tell you, the strategic advantages here are absolutely massive. When you cut out all the mental noise of reacting to every little thing, your mind gets clear. Your focus becomes like a laser beam. Imagine you're in a tough negotiation. Instead of getting rattled, you're just calmly analyzing. You stop wasting all that precious mental and physical energy on pointless drama. And maybe the best part? You finally learn how to truly listen so you can understand what people are really trying to say underneath it all. Okay, so if you've stuck with me this far, I bet something's already starting to click. You're not the same person who feels like they have to jump into every single conversation. You've started to grasp a fundamental principle of power that, honestly, most people will never get. You're ready to embrace a new, more powerful, more controlled version of you. Seriously, I want you to think of it like this. Your silence, it's your new armor. In a world that's just full of noise and chaos and people trying to get a rise out of you, your ability to stay calm and quiet is your ultimate protection. It deflects all that negativity and keeps your inner peace safe. And don't kid yourself. This is not some common knowledge. This simple understanding that silence is a tool for outer respect and inner control, it literally separates you from 99% of people who are just bouncing from one reaction to the next through life. You are now operating on a completely different level. So let's leave it with this one powerful idea. In a world that is constantly trying to provoke a reaction out of you, learning to find power in peace and silence doesn't just make you stronger, it basically makes you a ruler of your own world. The only question left is, how are you going to use this newfound power?